What's up? It's EJ Spark, and I'm finally back in a new office that's almost done. I still have some decorating and organizing to do, but I'm back to listening to music, reviewing music, making my music, doing all those fun things. But yesterday, one of my favorite artists of all time, Kid Cudi, dropped his new Entergalactic album, and today I'm reviewing it for you. Cudi comes at us with an album that parallels his Netflix special of the same name. Before I get started into every song, I will say this album, Cudi comes at us with, this confidence and positive spirit, full of love that we really haven't seen like this much throughout a full project from Kid Cudi before. And I would hope that it's really coming from, Cudi's real life situation. And I'm not sure. I didn't see the animated special yet. Obviously, it came out yesterday on Netflix, but I don't know if it's more or less a soundtrack straight about the animated series, or if it's actually just, an album that he really feels these emotions and these positive feelings of love. But, the album starts off with this intergalactic theme, astronaut, outer space, dreamlike, or so genre that, Kid Cudi loves to create. And Kid Cudi's so good because he is so original and he definitely has his own style. And, the intergalactic theme starts off with these big synths that sets the tone for the project leading into new mode. And right off the rip, I think we have one of the best songs on the album. I think this song exudes confidence from Kid Cudi. In the song's lyrics, he says his head is right, it's a new Cudi, he has heaven in his sights, and he's not the same person as when we met him. When we met him, he's Lord of the Sad and Lonely, talks about mental health issues a lot, but now he's just exuding this, like I said before, confidence and positivity. And he says he finally loves who he is, and we kind of saw roots from that lyric on the song Livin Me featuring Phoebe Bridgers on Man on the Moon 3, where he realizes he has to love himself to grow, and here he says he finally does love himself, which is great to see. I love the melody and the chill production on this track to go along with the theme. The next song is actually Do What I Want, which is a banger. I already did a review on this track, but the next song after that is Angel. On Angel, there are no drums in the production, which I often say in my reviews is something that I really enjoy, the simplicity of those songs and how it brings out the vocals in an artist. It's a very soft, simple, lullaby-esque track from Cudi, which I think he can do so well, and I think we need more of those type of songs. I love the static in the production. It gives it a vintage feeling to it. Of course, a common theme throughout this album is love, and with just watching the trailers of the Netflix series, you can tell that obviously it does have a lot to do with love, and this is kind of where the love story starts. This song is very vibrant sounding, and it seems like this person, let's say Kid Cudi, sees another person and immediately finds their beauty is like that of an angel. He's kind of just love struck from first sight, which goes into the next track, Ignite the Love. This song starts off with some prominent acoustic guitar, and I absolutely love it. I love acoustic instruments in hip-hop. I actually wish the acoustic guitar in this track didn't sink so much into the background as much as it did. It's still there, it's just not as prominent as kind of the intro to this track. But these big drums and synths kind of drown it out a little bit. But listening to this feels like the flow of the album does start to come together nicely. Like I said, Angel, you see the person, you see the love interest, and now they're igniting their love finally for one another, and this is for sure one of the better cuts on the project. Then the song goes to In Love, so it's like Angel, love at first sight, ignite the love, they're igniting the love, and now they're fully in love. In this song, Cudi does admit he's a lonely man. However, he is now so in love with this love interest that he just cannot get her out of his head. And he does mention he will wait for the other person, so it seems like he doesn't have this other person quite yet. Sonically, this is a darker cut. The synths are darker, the melody just isn't as bright and happy as the first 5 tracks on this record. But you definitely have those classic harmonic Cudi hums that we all so love, and it really helps to bring this track together. I'd say the lyrics on this track are a little more simple, and it really more so focuses on the production and the melody, where it's like, okay, they're in love, but Cudi's still saying he's lonely, so it does feel like, something's off. The next song is Willing to Trust featuring Ty Dolla, which is a beautiful single. We've heard Cudi perform it on Fallon, and we've heard this song many times. I love this track. I love how vulnerable it is, how both artists are feeling vulnerable, willing to trust someone. I think trust is something that a lot of people take for granted. Then we go into Can't Believe It, and this song kind of stands alone on this album, to be honest. It's really the only like pure raw rap hip hop song on the album. This song is kind of back to Cudi's roots. It feels like a song that could live on the Kid Named Cudi mixtape. I think 2 Chainz gives a dope feature, except for maybe one bar where he just says emotions like a roller coaster. Just that bar specifically seemed a bit pedestrian for 2 Chainz for me. But overall, the beat's a banger. I love the drums. I love the eerie broken piano you have in the background, and I think Cudi goes off. Then we go into Livin My Truth, and I think this is also one of the better cuts on the project. It definitely has one of the funkiest bass lines and flows that Cudi has. In an album that is such a feel-good album, I actually think this might be the most feel-good song out of all the songs. A lot of good background vocals and vocal chops in the production, and you still have that warm, cozy, static feeling of like a vinyl record that gives it that vintage uppity feel. Track number 10 is Maybe So, and this is a very nostalgic song. This song is totally Man on the Moon. If there was one song on this project that could actually go on one of the Man on the Moon trilogy albums, it's this one. Everything about this song sounds dreamlike and outer spacey. You know, Cudi sings softly with hints of acoustic guitar and strings that bring a lot of layers to this track with a subtly catchy chorus. Lyrically, he says he'll take it slow and give it time, and maybe you'll heal, or maybe you won't. A lot of people say, oh, just give it time, things will get better, but sometimes the struggle doesn't end for a long time. You know, sometimes we have bad weeks, months, years, and sometimes it's just straight up hard to see the light no matter how much time goes by and how hard of a worker you are. Lyrically, it's one of the darker tracks on a relatively speaking lighter Cudi project. The next song is Can't Shake Her featuring Ty Dolla, and at this point in the record, it seems like our couple isn't doing so well. Again, throughout the song, it seems like Cudi says, you know, he can't stop thinking about her, but in the first verse, he does say, you know, he doesn't want to fight with her. He knows he did her wrong. He loves her. He's got to get her back. So we really don't know how it's going to end for the couple, but this is a catchy tune and I enjoyed it. Track 12 is She's Looking For Me, and honestly, this was my favorite song on the entire album. I think this is the most catchy, emotional, maybe not the best lyrically, but sonically it just caught my ear the most. Even though it might not be as like complex and profound lyrically, I still love the lyrics. Can she save the night? Can she save the night in time? It almost feels like a climax to our fictional couple here, right? Like they fell in love, they're fighting, but, you know, can they save the relationship? And, you know, maybe the pre-chorus also could have had some dope lyrics besides Cudi singing why, you know, pretty repetitively. That could be lazy songwriting, or you could really just be begging, you know, why is this happening? Please save the night. I don't know. But a very easy and catchy song to listen to, something that I would want to sing, and definitely has some great melodies. The next song is My Drug, and kind of right off the rip, it felt like one of the weaker cuts on the album. Maybe a little more tedious than the other songs, I guess, but after a couple listens, it did start to grow on me. The strings on this song do make you feel like you're in that dream-like floating state that you love to have when you're listening to Kid Cudi. Overall, a decent song, but not up to par to the rest of the album for me. Then we have Somewhere to Fly featuring Don Toliver, which this is the first song that Don Toliver's on, and he is on the final 2 cuts, and I think Don Toliver and Cudi go magnificently together. This is a song where Don Toliver definitely shines. You know, his vocals are smooth, his vocals are crisp, and lyrically it sounds like our couple is back together. You know, they're magnetic, they can't get enough of each other, and it sounds like they're going to end together. I also think the production on Somewhere to Fly is going to fly under the radar a little bit. You know, you have those big synths that kind of make the song feel epic. The final song is Burrow featuring Steve Aoki, Don Toliver, and Dot the Genius. I do believe this is like supposed to be a bonus track on the album, but it definitely has a lot of those EDM influences. Obviously, Steve Aoki had his hands all over this song. Cudi does name this song Burrow after Cincinnati Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow because Joe Burrow is so cold with it. If you don't know who he is, look up his highlights. But I think Cudi does do, you know, the EDM genre well, as seen in the Pursuit of Happiness remix. And once again, I think that Don Toliver and Cudi, I think they just mesh really well together. We saw that on Moon, on Donda, and now we're seeing that with 2 two songs here. I definitely think they should collab more together. Now, I don't think this song is nearly as catchy as the Pursuit of Happiness remix. Obviously, Pursuit of Happiness was already a big song when it came out, but still a fun track. It does have a big buildup at the end that kind of teases us with a final drop, but we don't get the final drop. So at one point it kind of leaves you wanting more, but in the other point, like, I kind of just wanted it to drop and rage one last time at the end of the song. Overall, I do think Entergalactic is another great performance by Kid Cudi. He does touch on love and confidence and positivity more than we've ever heard from Cudi, and it's a side of him that I truly enjoy. Of course, I greatly enjoy his mental health stuff and everything else that he's put out before. I think it really connects and relates to a lot of people, and that's why a lot of people love Kid Cudi. But hearing Cudi have this confidence and love in his heart is truly a great thing. I mean, it makes me feel confident and full of love, so I think it did its job. And although I enjoyed this project very, very much, and Cudi remains one of my favorite artists of all time, of course, I think as of right now, I still prefer All the Man on the Moons over this album. I think lyrically as a whole, the album isn't as profound and deep as you would hear previous Cudi albums, but I think that's just because of the theme and that it goes along with the Netflix animated series. But I think it's still vibey as hell, and I think Cudi still hits the mark with his originality, you know, and his own unique genre. I just think the Man on the Moon trilogy is on a whole other level. But overall, I'm going to give this an 8.2 out of 10. A really, really good album with a lot of great themes and a light that we haven't seen Cudi in before. But what are your thoughts on Entergalactic? Did you enjoy this project as much as I do? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you so much for coming by. This is going to be my permanent office for a while. I'm glad you're coming back. If you're new, please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you like talking music, listening to music, and making music just as much as I do. As always, you can follow me on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram at EJSpark1. And as always, you know what it is. It's peace, love. I love s'mores. EJ, ow.